Not this one, not any of those. But I don't know if you guys have realized, it was this white one up here that we used to take to Maine every so often. Since I took it to Maine last, it doesn't want to start. And from what my father said he took the carburetor snorkel off and he sprayed gas in there and then it fired up. So it's either a problem with the hose going to the carburetor or the carburetor needs to be clean. So I think we should take this out. Let's reverse the quad and everything. Let's take this out. Let's try to fix it. All right, we got the XT out. I got some other things out of the way. We're gonna reorganize the garage before I start working on this. So catch you in just a bit. All right, so we got the carburetor here. It's obviously sideways because why make anything easy? To get to the other side so I can get to that hose. It does have life. We put the jump pack on it. So it does have something, but it just kind of just cranks and nothing. So it's got to be either the hose or the carburetor. I got to take that off and take a look. Let's be double sure. I used a size 18mm socket. Or pull out the spark. We're going to make sure we have spark, but I definitely think it's a fuel problem. But always good to be sure on every occasion that you have spark. So let's check it. Okay. Ben, can you crank? So? Can you crank it real quick? So you can see if it's got spark? No, you have to turn the key. Yeah, now crank. Yes, we have spark. We have spark. So that's good. Let's put that back in. So that's good. So it's a fuel issue. 2 Phillips head screwdrivers on the bottom of the fender and the seat comes off. Which gives us the top part of the carburetor. We'll put the seat down over here. Let's try to dig into all this lovely shit. Okay. Okay, let's see if we can get in here better. So I took the seat off and it looks like this 10mm bolt holds the carburetor onto the chassis. So we're gonna pull it off and see if we can get the carburetor out here so I can see the fuel hose from it. Let's see if this works. Yeah, it looks like it's gonna work. We're gonna take this back hose off and it should pop up front. We have removed the hose that connects the airbox to the back of the carb, and we're gonna remove this back hose here and try to pull this carb out. Next we have this angle hose that we gotta take off and we get the carburetor cleaned up. Alright, so what I originally thought was the carburetor isn't. The carburetor is buried in there. Fuck! So we have to probably remove the airbox and get to it through in there, which will be a real rip snorter of a good time. So let's remove the airbox. It will be 1, 2, something, a hose. We'll take this off real quick. So with this, we're going to be probably taking off the gas tank to get easier access. I removed 2 Allen bolts from here, 1 Allen bolt from the top, and we have 2 nestled in the side here, which I'm going to flip the camera and show you guys. Right where my finger is, nestled there. We can remove those and then we can remove the plastics and we should be able to see everything better. Once we get to the top of the carb and see the top of the carb, it should be real good.
Eventually.
Remove the gas tank. We removed the fuel line, which I'm going to be checking in a little bit. But before we do that, let's make sure that this petcock works. So we have it on off right now. If I turn it to on, gas should be coming out of here. And it does. So that means that works perfectly fine. So the next step I'm going to do is pull off this gas hose and make sure there's fuel going to the carburetor, and if it is, then we have to take this carburetor off and clean it. Okay, that hose I blew through it, it's fine. So it looks like the carburetor is fouled up. So we'll start taking the carb apart. We'll remove this hose clamp holding it here, this one here. We should shake it forward and then we'll see what else is stuck on here and we'll pull it off. Okay, so we got the carburetor out of its two boots, but it's still holding on for dear life. So next we used a 14mm here to remove the, this is the choke cable. As you can see, I pulled the choke and it sucks in. Pull that. We'll have to remove this hose, and then it should come out. This will leave till the end. Let's remove these two hoses and try to remove it again. All right, so the next thing we gotta do is get rid of this cable right there, which we're gonna have to use a wrench, probably a size 13 or whatnot. The front boot, which is funny, I was pulling the carburetor and it just kind of slid off. Nothing broke, which is impressive. Like, this is actually still intact. This is still intact. It just kind of slipped over the bolt. So we'll probably just put a couple washers on there before I put the bolts on. No big deal. So now let's get rid of the bottom part of that carburetor. Then we'll grab a wrench to fit that and undo that thing, and it should just pop right out. All right, we got the carburetor off. Unfortunately, not without some hazardous shit. As you can see, one of the bottom bolts that we've undone, which was this one, has this metal piece that broke off of this broken wire here, which we can easily fix, not a problem. So now what we have to do is just remove the throttle cables. So as you can see, as I turn the throttle cable, so we'll just have to remember that the upper one goes to the back here, and the back one goes to this one, where this one has a stopper for the throttle. So upper to throttle stopper, reverse to nothing. So we just gotta remember that. So one of the problems I've realized on this carburetor is this right here is the fuel port. When you blow into this fuel port, when it's sitting straight like this, you're supposed to feel pressure going through it. But when I blow through it, I don't feel anything. So I think the problem is in the float bowl. So I'll have to grab a small Phillips and crack these 4 bolts and take a look what's going on in there. One. So we got all 4 of them done. Now we have to be very careful and not mess up any of these gaskets because I don't have any new ones. Let's give it a couple taps. Just grab a hammer to do that real quick. Okay, gasket well intact. That's good. These floats, there's a problem with these floats. We got to figure that out. So let's take this stuff apart real quick and see what we got. We're going to pull this pin out real quick. We're going to be very careful not to lose it. So we grab a pair of pliers, pull that out. Actually, what we can do is probably just use this needle I have here. Just slide this out.
One hour later.
I have never seen a float pin that stuck in my life. I mean, I'm sitting here banging with the hammer. That's as far as I got. So the problem's definitely in there. We're going to take this downstairs to our vise, attach to a vise, and try to beat this out. Holy shit. So look, the problem is definitely in here. So let's take the screw out and see what's clogged in here. Put the screw there. Let's see if we can pull this out. No, obviously can't. We're going to have to finagle that real quick. Next, we're going to put all these carb parts back on the carb and reassemble it. So I'll show you guys how that looks like reassembled. In 3, 2, 1. All right, and done. Now let's go install it on the bike.
3 hours later.
Can you move it along? I'm all out of time cards.
And just like that, we got it running once we put the carburetor back on. Runs pretty good. Gotta put the plastics on. I think that clacking is because I put a carburetor boot on, not 100% all the way.
Are you stupid or something?
But we can fix that. We get the plastic pieces on. We're good to go. Anyway, catch you in the next video. See you later. Peace.